What if I told you that Tony Stark, the genius, the savior of the universe, the one who snapped his fingers to defeat Thanos, was never really Tony Stark at all? What if everything we believed for the past 15 years was a lie? Hey guys, my name is Joe and you're watching The TJ Show. And today, I'm about to share with you a theory that will flip the entire MCU upside down. A theory so insane, so deeply rooted in Marvel history that once you hear it, you'll never look at Tony Stark the same way again. Because what if I told you that the man we knew as Tony Stark was actually Victor Von Doom all along? Yeah, I'm serious. And by the end of this video, if your mind hasn't exploded into 4 pieces, go ahead and dislike the video. But if you stay with me, I promise, this theory will make everything that's happening in the MCU right now make perfect sense. Let's go back to Endgame, that scene where Tony goes back to the past and meets Howard Stark. Remember what Howard says? "My wife is expecting, and I've been spending too much time at the office." At that moment, Tony freezes. He looks confused, not just emotional. Confused, because based on the timeline, Tony should have already been born, but he wasn't. That tiny moment, that expression, that was a crack in the illusion, a glitch in the Matrix. Marvel gave us a hint, but we missed it. Now remember what Howard told Tony in Iron Man 2. "What is and always will be my greatest creation is you." Now that line sounds touching, right? But creation doesn't have to mean biological son. It could mean something else entirely. It could mean Howard didn't have Tony. He created him, or maybe he adopted him. Because here's the truth, Tony Stark might not have been Howard Stark's biological son, and in fact, he may not have even been Tony Stark at all. He may have been Victor Von Doom. Now I know what you're thinking. Come on, how could that possibly be true? But just hold on, because I'm gonna give you proof, and once you hear it, you might just believe this theory is Marvel's ultimate plan. Let's rewind the clock. Back in 2005, before the MCU existed, Robert Downey Jr. auditioned for the role of Victor Von Doom in Fox's Fantastic Four. Yes, Doom, not Tony. He didn't get the part back then, but here's the twist. Almost 20 years later, Marvel is finally making him Doom, just not in the way we expected. People think Marvel brought RDJ back out of desperation, to fix the franchise, to sell tickets. But no, they brought him back because this story, this twist, was planned long ago. And the Russo brothers, the very guys who gave us Infinity War and Endgame, they said they wouldn't return unless the idea for Secret Wars was mind-blowing. And guess what convinced them? An idea involving Tony Stark. An idea so massive it shook the entire foundation of Marvel Studios. And this theory might be that very idea. Because here's the truth, the man we thought was Iron Man has been Victor Von Doom all along. Marvel didn't need to set up Doom like they did Thanos, because they already did for 15 years. And now it's all about to come full circle. Here's how it all connects. You know, He Who Remains, the last Kang variant who created the sacred timeline, well, he didn't just prune timelines randomly. One of the timelines he destroyed was Doom's. That's right, Doom was erased, or so it seemed. Before the end of the multiversal war, Doom existed in his own universe. He fought, he conquered, he even went toe-to-toe with He Who Remains. But eventually, he lost. After winning the war, using Alioth's power, He Who Remains created the Citadel beyond time and shaped the 616 timeline, our MCU, but he knew Doom was dangerous. He couldn't let him come back, so he did something twisted. He didn't kill Doom. He rewrote his entire existence. He Who Remains didn't destroy Doom. He reprogrammed him. He placed Doom into the sacred timeline as a child. He erased his past, altered his memories, and planted him in the Stark family. A brilliant move. So instead of becoming a villain, Doom grew up as a hero, and that's the twist. Tony Stark wasn't just raised by Howard Stark, he was implanted there. A time-lost, multiverse-erased Victor Von Doom, reborn as Iron Man. That's why Marvel started its entire universe with Iron Man in 2008. Not because Tony was the most popular, he wasn't. X-Men and Spider-Man were way bigger, but Marvel didn't have the rights to those characters yet, so they had to start with Tony. But what if, deep down, they always planned for the first hero to become the final villain? Now you understand why the X-Men didn't exist in the MCU timeline, why Spider-Man came in so late, why there's been no mention of Doom or mutants. Because this timeline, 616, is not the original Marvel universe. It's the secret timeline created by He Who Remains. The real universe, where everyone from from the Fantastic Four to the X-Men to Doom coexisted. He was erased too. And in this manufactured reality, Doom was reborn as Tony Stark. This explains why only RDJ can play Doom, because he's been Doom all along. We just didn't realize it. And now in Doomsday, Doom is returning, but not as a hero. He's done playing Iron Man. The mask is coming off. And this time, he's not assembling the Avengers. He's building the evil Avengers, his own team of corrupted heroes. The perfect revenge against Kang, who stole his timeline and forced him into a life that was never his. Because Kang didn't just erase Doom's world. He tried to erase Doom himself, but Doom survived. And now, he's coming for everything. Marvel isn't just setting up a big bad. They're setting up the truth behind the MCU. Now I know what you're thinking. If Tony is Doom, then where's the real Tony Stark? That's the ultimate question. We don't know. Maybe the real Tony never survived. Maybe he never existed in this timeline. Maybe Doom's arrival erased him from history altogether. Whatever the answer is, one thing's for sure. This Tony Stark was never Tony. Because the Tony Stark we've loved for years, the one who built the suits, fought Thanos, snapped his fingers and saved us all, that wasn't the real Tony. That was Doom, choosing to be a hero. And that's what makes this twist so powerful. Because even if his life was a lie, even if everything he believed was fake, he still chose to be good. That's why we'll always remember him as Tony Stark. So yeah, that's the theory. And if it blew your mind, smash that like button. If it didn't, dislike it. I meant what I said, because here on the TJ Show, we don't chase views. We chase the truth. And the truth is, Tony Stark was never who we thought he was. Victor Von Doom lived his entire life inside a lie. And still, in the end, he chose to be a hero. But now, the mask is off. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning. I'm Joe, and you've been watching TJ Show. See you in the next one.